I may have to run suddenly, but if I do, I'll give you a call when I'm back around.
Okay. Okay. You're sitting on the air right now.
Oh.
Yo, what up, Capt? Did you like the butt slaps? By the way, I'm not trolling you on those characters, man. Nino's a. Oh my god, I need to see some of the clips from your POV.
Hey, Turner.
Hey.
How we doing?
Pretty good. How'd the situation go earlier?
Not well.
No, well. All right. Are the guns not better now?
I mean, those aren't the only factors involved. There's multiple factors, but
Okay.
to my knowledge, they are. I haven't personally been able to use them quite yet, but to my knowledge, they are.
Okay. All right.
But you know, we are reactive when it comes to situations such as ambushes. So,
Was it like a job gone bad, or like what was the high level of what happened?
well, to give you the high level version, we had a group who engaged in negotiations and then went backwards on the negotiations, ended up shooting officers who were hostage after their needs were given.
Yeah.
At which point we are essentially going to be approaching them with heightened aggression in the sense of you know, sending more units, more resources to any situation involving this group.
Gonna vaff the fuck out of their cars. Okay.
And it appears they were, my understanding, which I don't have a full briefing on it because I responded uninvolved, right? I don't have a full lead up to it, but my understanding was that it was essentially an ambush.
Oh.
They opened up by shooting down Air One on top of building, so it wasn't something that was off the cuff. It was very much planned.
Side note, just wait, what the fuck? Look at what Irish just twatted there, Michael. 225K for a J2C shirt eye? Built for sale?
It's very cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if rates changed.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Is that that's the second one I saw, and that's very low. That's surprisingly low.
Yeah.
We got 2 yoke blocks for 300,000 apiece.
Recently?
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
I wonder, I think there may have been a, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even if there was a change, how do they assess that price that quickly?
Because it's like small box store, right? You put in an investment, and then what you get, you divvy up how much it costs. You know what I mean? So if you put in 100,000 and you're getting back X, Y, and Z, anyways, I don't want to go too much into it. Most people, what they do is they profit off the stage 5s and the stage 4s, and the rest is like ice. You know what I mean? Or what is it? Not ice, but like you know, like the frosting or whatever.
Cherry on top, just a
Yeah, exactly.
fair enough.
Yep.
So,
all right.
What's going on with this VAF legislation?
So, well, it's multi-pot. One is, I think after our conversation, I was already leaning in that direction even before our conversation. And then, but I was sort of 50-50. After our conversation, I saw your email. I saw that as a green light. And you know, came back in this morning, sent it up. Boom, boom. I think part of that may have also came from like looking at that inventory that was at that auction. Fucking all dog shit. I think the only interesting car there was a Felter worth 100,000. The rest a bunch of Astrons, are not even worth the engine that they got in their bay.
Okay, so you're saying essentially there's going to be something in place of this. What is exactly going to be in place when this gets enacted?
Well, something has always been in place, and that is, I'm gonna say this in my own words, and you know, I'm gonna let you kind of interpret it as you see. You may not see eye to eye in this, but I think the VAF legislation effectively is like a call center, is the equivalent of like a call center script, right? If this, then that. And it creates an underlining tone of, if this script is followed, then we do this, which removes any notion of critical thinking. And in turn, we end up with invaluable, like, I don't want to say invaluable, but vehicles that are pretty much worthless with zero parts in it. And therefore, they don't really, A, provide a punishment, or B, actually thwart crime in any logical way. Now, had VAF been producing the seizure of genuinely valuable vehicles with car parts, there would be an argument. Now, what is coming in its place? What's coming in its place is something that's always been there, but been protected from being enacted due to the VAF legislation. And what that is if a vehicle is used in a crime through articulation, you can seize it. If someone murders somebody inside of a house, and that house is being used for these murders, you don't need points. You just file for a seizure alongside that murder charge. If you see a vehicle that is consistently used in robberies, you then file for a seizure on it. And you can do so without any sort of, what's the word called when you're like shadow boxing and someone can see where your punch is coming from? What is it called?
You like telegraphing?
Yes, without any telegraphing. Someone gets 2 points. Oh shit, it's gonna get seized. Pull all the pots out. No, what you should do, realistically, is, hey, that's like a fucking 1,000x plus vehicle that's been used in 10 different gang-related shootings, but hasn't been caught. We know who the owner is. We've fucking seized that thing, right? So, there it is. So,
isn't the whole point of legislation and outlining these things?
Could
to
you
make
speak
things
up?
More black and white. No worries. Isn't the point of legislation there to outline things, make them more black and white, so it's understood, and not left so much interpretation?
No.
Something like the VAF legislation, it outlines, creates a system that everyone's aware of.
Yeah.
So nothing is catching people off guard. Telegraphing is important in that sense, because if not, people
Why?
get pissed off. You start having uproars when you start seeing dockets of vehicles being put on the docket out of nowhere with no warning. This is something we spoke about before that you even agreed on. Is that when this catches people off guard,
I agree that it creates public SOPs effectively for when law enforcement seizes a vehicle, but I disagree in it being valuable, right? So, and I'm going to use a simple example. If someone you cared about was murdered in the back of a vehicle, right? And then that body and that corpse was driven around the fucking city, and y'all caught the guy, and now this body is sitting lifeless in the back. You gonna put a VAF on it, or are you gonna seize the vehicle? If the Saints have a Sultan RS 4 doors, and it is showing up at every Polito, every Fleeca, nonstop for X amount of days, you're going to say, well, you know what? Let's wait till we catch it a couple times, or you're going to have somebody create a seize it when, you know, on whatever, and file for its seizure. So you're actually taking away something that's valuable, that has parts in it or just the frame. And it's a completely different mindset, right? But it is the mindset that is more akin to how things used to be, and encourages, you know, valuable policing as opposed to what I think is just a fucking waste of time. So.
What do you mean by it used to be?
Back in the day, there was, I believe it was called the strike system. And the strike system did not mandate out the ability for law enforcement to seize things.
That's the same system that we essentially attempted to push here, no?
No.
The revised version that we pushed.
Which one? The one that you
system.
showed me, the last one?
Yes.
No, it was very different. It had points, yes. Associated types of crimes, but it was different. Because when a vehicle was striked, it was immediately impounded with a fee attached. And so that vehicle was out of commission until somebody who did not have a negative bank balance was able to pull it out of their garage. So it was very, very different with very different tooling. But anyways,
Who is this getting changed for?
For everybody, to be honest. If anything, this is your biggest weapon. Question is whether law enforcement is intelligent enough to figure that out. And if they're not, there's a greater problem.
We know there's a greater problem.
Yeah.
To some extent.
And I think this is part of it. You know? I'm gonna frame it like this. If any institute caters to the least common denominator for too long, it becomes just the least common denominator. And that any outliers, any of those that exceed beyond that, lose motivation or reason to be anything more than that least common denominator. And I think this is one of those facets.
I'll be honest, I'm not picking up on what you're putting down right now.
Sure. The whole thing or just the example?
And this example.
Okay.
In terms of the common denominator.
Okay. So if the seizure of a asset is based on you do X things X amount of times, then you're giving somebody a script and saying this is all you got to do. Instead of using critical thinking to establish whether something should be seized and the reasoning for why that seizure makes sense. We can keep it simpler. Do you agree that a vehicle that has a body in the back
I
for
understand
murder?
what you're saying. I'm more or less just thinking here right now.
Yeah.
I know the system can result in more seizures.
I don't think it's going to be more seizures. No, I think there's going to be less seizures.
It can be. No, I think this will be more. Now we don't even need to catch a car. We just need to document it.
Okay.
Is that right? It's used in 5 different situations. We don't catch it. Why?
It depends on the articulation, right? I don't want to say a blanket. I would never say a blanket
in front of a bank robbery.
I would never say a blanket yes. I would hope that what you do. I mean, you could certainly go down that route. I think that would go miserably, personally. But I think the route that I would hope people within the department do is make strategic seizures. It's not about the number. Number is useless, right? Catching 20 Astrons is like, you know, finding like a half-eaten pizza in a dumpster, right? But what would be a strategic seizure is a vehicle that has parts that has actually been materially valuable to an organization in committing serial crimes. And then when that shit hits, it's like, oh, fuck, we're done for. It's gone. That's what I would hope to be used. Now, if a bunch of bozos go and start, like, trying to seize everything in the world, well, that's more of a reflection on their ability. You know what I mean? 'Cause that'd be a fucking massive waste of time. But, you know, that's a choice.
I apologize for leaving
Yeah.
abruptly, but I do need to run.
Absolutely.
I'll
What's
reach
your
out to both
time
you
looking?
later.
Because we should wrap that other thing up.
Literally like 2 minutes.
Yep. All right. Oh, easy. Okay. Bye-bye.
No. Like, I have 2 minutes. I don't know when I'm going to be back.
Oh, I see.
You all
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
in that time. We can talk about this here later if you need to.
Yeah. Let's do that because I need to chat
You
to
wanna
him
do that?
about some
Okay.
legislation real quick.
All right.
Okay.
We will talk later then.
All right.
Y'all
Easy.
take care now.
Yep.
Thanks, Turner. Sorry.
Okay. So the Establishment of Legislative Reform and Public Referendum Act.
Yeah.
This, take a second look at this when you can. I think we should put a soft, we should try to do a soft due date for Thursday.
Okay. Was there anything you had issue with? Keep in mind, like, pretend I've never read this before because it's been a minute.
This is effectively letting bar certified attorneys able to push forward legislation and bills.
Yep.
And it mandates that the mayor respond to it in some sort of fashion, right? With a response or whatever, and it sort of forces their hand a bit.
Right.
Yeah, take a look through it. I know you haven't looked at it. I know you got 2 minutes, but try to re-review it. Think about what this could mean. We want to make sure that we're empowering creating legislators that can help lift some of the load.
Yeah.
And so whatever, whoever they are that they're representing can effectively put it towards the mayor, and we can get more things processed more quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take another look at it. You said Thursday?
Yeah.
I'll probably have something on your desk tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then we'll review it.
Sounds good. I desperately need to run. I'm gonna walk down the beach here.
There's a lot of crazy. Who gave you this book?
Helios didn't tell me who used the camera to take the pictures, but he said he believes it's a marshal placing a camera on a crane by the docks, and those dock workers that you see pictured, they all have MDT profiles. They're all dead.
What?
Yeah. He gave me their names. One of them was Gwenifer.
The dead person.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it.
Apparently, all the dock workers are pictured deceased in hospital beds, and they've been marked as deceased in the MDT. So, we were in a group, so I didn't get a lot of context from him. I didn't press him on the matter. I'll circle back to him and get additional details, and I'll pass those on to you. But yeah.
Okay, I'm confused. Did someone he knows tap into this?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. Someone he knows is the author of the book. They are the ones who set up the camera that took the pictures of the dock worker and the marshal.
That
at the
is
docks. Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I wonder if Blue Man realizes that there's a few of us that seemingly have a lot more weight than he does.
Yeah.
That's actually insane.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about that topic.
Yeah.
Things are getting a little spicy.
Oh, and to that end, before you run, on the Wyatt front, I don't have a lot of details. I know he's dead. I know apparently the Lumber Co.'s ownership was transferred to Tally Marks before he passed away.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh
And,
my God.
lastly, he bought a property in the barrio off of Helios quite a while ago. It's the only property he had in his name. After he passed away, Brandon was trying to get access. As Brandon Valentino.
Yeah.
Was trying to get access because he said Wyatt left something in the property for him.
It was a BP.
That's my guess.
No, I know it is. That's why we got to talk soon. Okay. Shit.
As you can imagine, I haven't been pushing things at all.
As you shouldn't.
It's been more listen than talk.
I will say this. There are very odd decisions being made beyond us. And it is safer for us to monitor rather than make any decisions.
Yeah.
Because most of the decisions are seemingly lacking logic and lacking... Look, I'm going to leave this with you so you can think on it a bit. Someone else is paying the price for someone else's sins. So it's shit, man. Okay. Yeah, give me a call when you're back. We'll
yeah.